Hello friends and welcome. I'm Sara Lihz and I have two super quick and easy cards for you, a Valentine's Day card and a birthday card using one of the new die sets from the recent release from Pixidustdesigns. This is the S'mores die set and I cut it 3 times. I have it once in blues and purples, once in yellows and reds and oranges, and then once I just cut the s'mores. I'm gonna save the purple set for a different video that you will find on the Pixi Dust Design channel. I will link it if it comes out before this one. But then I'm gonna make 2 cards here. I'm starting with my red, orange, and yellow set. I am making a Valentine for my son. He's 6 years old and his favorite color is red. And I was like, Vinny, what about your other favorite colors? He's like, oranges, yellows, you know, the warm colors. And I was like, who taught my son about cool colors and warm colors? I was so pleased. So I thought this would be a lot of fun. For Valentine's Day, I make lots of Valentines. I have 2 little boys and I'm married, and I just make a whole bunch of cards for the 3 of them, and then I leave them around the house for them to find periodically. It usually takes them about a week with fun little notes letting them know how much I love them. And so this is kind of my starting point for the year for Valentine's, and I had a lot of fun. I'm starting with a shadow layer for my smoke tendrils, and I've used a white shimmer cardstock. I started with vellum, but I thought it wasn't quite enough. Then I added the yellow smoke tendrils out of some pattern paper. It's got a very subtle polka dot on it, and then some red glitter hearts that go right in the middle of there. If you don't want the hearts, if you just want to use like a bonfire, you can omit that shadow layer and just use the smoke tendrils. But I like that because this is a Valentine, it showed me exactly where to put those heart pieces. This is big, right? It's just going to fit on my A2 card. That orange background piece, it's a really subtle orange pattern paper. I cut down to 4 by 5 1/4. And so that's why you can see me holding both pieces together to make sure that they will fit before I go adhering things. Then I have my red glitter flames that I just think are super fun. I know that sometimes we think glitter and shiny things don't belong on a masculine card, but no one has told my kids yet. So I kind of make things using colors I know they like, and actually they kind of like the shine. So then my other 2 flame layers are from some orange and then that same yellow pattern paper that has that subtle polka dot on it. And I'm gonna pop this whole panel up with some 1mm thin foam tape. I'm adding some wet glue to make sure that I get everything centered. This will leave me just a 1/8 inch margin all the way around that card base. And I love the way that that looks. Once I get that on there, now I'm looking for a sentiment, and I am using one from an emergency card kit that I put out last Valentine's Day, and I actually cut it in half, and I'm using the sentiment that says, "You are totally awesome." I'm gonna layer this over one of the flames. So I added just a shim of cardstock right in the middle and then some 1mm thin foam on either side so that it's not sitting wonky with like a little bump in the middle because of that flame. I'll add some wet glue to help me make sure that I get that on there straight, and then I will add it to my card base, and we are almost done. Again, this is super quick and easy. I like to make lots of Valentines, and that means that not all of them are going to be crazy pop-up Valentines. In the other video where I'm using the purple and blue flames, I am going to make a pop-up version with this set. So that finishes up card 1. Here's card number 2. Happy birthday. You are becoming a serious fire hazard. So I'm making a mini slimline card, and I'm starting with a card base that is 3.5 by 6 1/4. And then this light blue piece, I actually am going to end up covering up later. But if you like the look of that, that is 3 by 6 1/4, just centered on there. My card base is 7 by 6 1/4, scored in half at 3.5. And I'm going to go ahead and add those 2 pieces together now. Normally I would wait. I don't know why I didn't. So I am going to add a little bit of like Post-it tape on the inside to help that lay flat while I move through the rest of my card making process. So I have 3 s'mores that I've cut out. So 6 graham cracker pieces. And then so far I've cut out 2 of the marshmallows. And I'm just adding a little bit of light brown, medium brown cappuccino ink to the marshmallows to give them that sort of slightly charred look. And then I'm also going over the graham crackers here. There's some wonderful debossed detail in there, and I really like to see that stand out. I am using a birthday sentiment set that I released on my channel. I release a lot of free printables, and this one says happy birthday. I love the font, and I think it fits beautifully inside the marshmallow for this s'more. So I'm going to go ahead and cut that out using the marshmallow die, and then I will also add a little bit of that brown ink onto that cardstock. There are 3 chocolate pieces that are sort of dripping down the marshmallow, and I love that about this. There's a whole bunch of pieces in this die set, right? We saw them on the last card. We have the like bonfire and flames. I didn't on that one add the little pieces of wood for like the base of the bonfire because it's pretty big already and I just felt like it fit better, but it's super versatile. I made 3 super different cards for the Pixie Dust channel using this die set, and then I made one completely different with an exploding martini glass on my channel. It's just a lot of fun. I'm being really careful as I add the dripping chocolate on the happy birthday one. It happens to fit beautifully with that sentiment because there's a little extra room on the right. But I definitely added my glue to the chocolate first and then kind of laid it on there carefully. When I go to add the top graham crackers, I'm trying to make sure that all of these are sort of similar, at least the ones on the left and the right. They're going to go in kind of a line across my card. And I like the symmetry of that. I am adding glue carefully to the graham cracker piece because it's not going to be completely layered behind, right? I have some graham cracker that doesn't have chocolate or marshmallow behind it, and I don't want to deal with a big gluey mess. I also just have my stencil mat behind this. In case there is any glue, I can just peel it right off that mat, and it's super easy cleanup. So here I go, and I start setting them on my card, and I thought it was just going to be this straight line across. I hadn't done anything to that light blue paper and I'm not loving it. So I'm grabbing a new piece of cardstock. This one is 3 1/4 by 6 1/4, and I ran it through a diagonal stripe embossing folder. Then I'm bringing in a brayer and I'm just going to go over that to darken up the raised lines and add a little extra visual interest. I didn't want anything too crazy, but it needed something. Then I heat set that before I added this white shimmer ink from Delicata. This is going to add some subtle shine, but I didn't want my ink pad picking up that blue ink. So either set it aside and let it dry completely or use your heat tool. I'm popping this up with some thin white foam. This is 1.5 millimeter white foam, and I'll add some wet glue just to help me make sure that I get it centered. I don't have a whole lot of border on the top and bottom, right? It's about 1/8 of an inch. And so then I will go ahead and add that to my card base. If you're new to mini slimline cards, these fit in a number 7 business envelope or a 6 3/4 business envelope. Both of those will work. You can usually pick them up just at the grocery store. It's a pretty standard like business size envelope. Now I'm going to go ahead and start adding my s'mores. I'm starting with the center one just to get that placement right. And I'm going to use some wet glue for each of these. I want this to be a nice, easy mailer. I think this is really funny, right? We're getting to the age where like the number of candles on a birthday cake for my friends and family is just obscene. So I like the idea of a subtle, funny card. We're going to use, again, another printable from my channel. This is a mini kit of birthday sub-sentiments, and it says you're becoming a serious fire hazard. And I love the subtle implication of fire that comes with s'mores. And so I cut that out using my trimmer. It's about 1/4 inch, and then I'm adding that onto a 3/8 inch strip of the same sort of dark teal cardstock that I used for the base of my card, or that background panel of my card. I'm adding some 1 millimeter thin foam to this. Again, looking for an easy mailer. I have a little bit of dimension behind that embossed panel. And I will center that right underneath my s'mores. Then I thought it needed a little bit of shine. I'm adding some clear faceted gems that have just a little bit of glitter in them, and I'm going to add them in a trio towards the top right, and then 2 more down at the bottom, just to add a little extra interest, a tiny little bit of dimension. These are not super raised, and that will finish up card number 2. I would love to know which card is your favorite. Let me know in the comments below. Thank you so much for joining me, and I will see you next time.